Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second of our series of financial planning webinars. Today I'm going to focus on debt management. My name is Barbara Mandel. So let's quickly run through the agenda for today. I'm first going to take you through some of the statistics on debt in South Africa. Then we're going to look at the different types of debt and how I can help you understand them. We're going to look at the cost of credit. That's something most people aren't normally familiar with. Then we're going to look at your rights and your responsibilities when you're taking out a credit agreement. And we are going to look at how can you reduce your debts and how can you remain in control of your debts. So today is not going to be a quick fix, ladies and gentlemen. There is no such thing as a quick fix. And I'm just primarily going to focus on how I can help you manage your debt better, and then hopefully one day you will be free of your major debt. So if we look at the credit statistics in South Africa, and all of these come from the National Credit Act, I first want to indicate to you guys a number of things on this graph. So graphs are normally very worrisome for some people, but I want to show you a simple trend. So if we look at towards the end of 2016 and we compare that towards the end of 2017, we can see that there's a slight increase in the people that have got outstanding debt. What's most concerning to me is that the people of 120 days, 91 to 120 days, and 61 to 90 days keep on increasing. But we don't see any spikes in any of the lines. So that means it's a general continuing trend. So if we then look at the number of accounts, so that was the total debt. If we now look at the number of accounts, we see similar patterns. So we know it's not a new problem. This means there must be, if you look at that, 1.2 million credit active consumers who've got accounts in arrears for more than 120 days. So this is the reason why we're doing this webinar, so that we can help those people. Hopefully they get to watch it, help them bring their credit back into control. Let's quickly look at the types of credit people have in South Africa. Now, this is to me a very worrisome graph as well. So if we look at this green pie chart over here, this is people with an active credit facility. So this is typical your credit cards, your store accounts. This is the type of credit that when you pay it, you can use it again. If we then look at the unsecured debt, this piece of this pie, okay, look how big that is. So if you take this little piece and that little piece, which is basically all lifestyle debts, if you want to call them that, so it's debt people use to fund their lifestyle, it makes out majority of the debt people have. So that is a big concern. When we get to good versus bad debt, I'm going to show you this over here is secured credit. So that's typically your vehicle finance, business finance, all of those kind of things. And then this small little portion over here of the darker orange is people's bonds. So we can see that the credit South Africans has is not necessarily on their homes, but actually on their lifestyle credits. And here's why that's a problem. So let's quickly, I'm going to show you a video on what if credit card commercials is honest. It is an American video, but I just want to get some of the basic principles for you.
Excited to get cash back. Relatable. No. Why use gross paper covered with pictures of dead guys when you can use my square piece of dinosaur carcass with numbers on it? In fact, nowadays, you have to have a square of recycled soda bottle because how else would you even be able to purchase your online subscription to watching what used to be free? Or paying for an expensive education that won't lead to a job. Really, any financial milestone. That's right. To get a roof over your head, you need to earn credit, which is really just showing you own a little square that you have to pay off continually. Somehow that's what makes you trustworthy and shows you're good with money. We've made it impossible to live without our plastic number swiper. We're putting chips in some of them now. Look at that. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Also a pain in the ass? You can't even use these everywhere. You can use it in some places that pay me to accept your card. Otherwise, you can just use money, which is what people who are taking your money would prefer. I'm an expensive middleman who's charging everyone extra for using my plastic cutout. Also, you'll probably need a different swipey swiper when my card doesn't work at one place where another one does work. Is it harder to keep track of how much you're spending when you don't physically see the presidentially decorated paper strips leaving your hands? We're counting on it, especially when we encourage you to go paperless. We'll say it's for the environment, but it's really because we know if we send you emails of the charges you made, you'll only skim the email, if you're reading them at all. Here's where it gets fun for me and exclusively no one else. We made it so the longer it takes for you to be able to pay us back on time, the more money you'll rack up in interest, and the harder it'll be to pay off. And doesn't that sound like it should be illegal? It's not, it's interest. Interest is a random percentage we charge you because you made charges. This is going to get pretty technical and pretty crimey, so let's look at a graph. If you're the average American credit card holder, then you owe more than $10,000 in debt. Let's say your interest rate is 24.99%, and you're paying off just the minimum because times are tough, or, because times are normal. That means that in 10 years, you'll have paid more than $26,000 and still owe over $11,000 more, and that's just 10 years. After 50 years, you'll have paid $165,729 and still owe more than $17,000. So you will always owe me money, but the more you use our card, the more worthless things we'll give you. All right, yes, let's hear it for stuff, or even better than stuff, cash back, which is just a tiny portion of money that you'll use to pay off the debt. But of course, you'll never see actual money. The more you charge, the more cash back we give you. It's like you're digging a hole, and we throw in a handful of dirt to help you get out of the hole, but only after you dig 5 feet deeper. If you're worried you might not be able to pay off this credit card, we'll encourage you to get another card to pay off that one, and then another to pay off that one. The more credit cards, the more you have to pay, and the more you owe us. It's literally the same apparatus as a Ponzi scheme, but we tell you about it with a 300-page tiny printed booklet that you won't read. So get yourself a Horton Card credit card. Go ahead and swipe it through machines till you owe us billions. Oh, is that too harsh? Oh, here. Hey, laugh machine, make the people feel better with your jokey words.
Hey, so you guys ever notice how Katy Perry is,
You feel better already, right?
Katy Perry's basically just Zoe Deschanel, but gassier.
I'm Roger, by the way.
Okay, so hopefully you guys will. So hopefully from that video you guys got a bit of ideas of what the credit card companies and the borrowers are not telling you. Okay, so let's quickly now move on to our good versus bad credit. My first point here is don't be a slave to debt. And what I mean by that is very simple. If you make use of lifestyle debt, so debts to fund your current lifestyle, this is what you'll always be doing. Every month, you will contribute a portion of your salary, which can be represented by this bag, to these little money grabbers called interest. So, and essentially, you're robbing your future self. So, if we look at debt to acquire an asset, I'm going to ask you guys, is that a good or a bad debt? And most of you are probably going to tell me it's a good debt, but is it always? So let's quickly look at the differences between good and bad debt. So good debt is car finance, buying your house. Bad credit is your credit cards, your payday loans, your loan sharks, instant approval loans. So most of you ask me what payday loans is. Payday loan is simply a loan that you take out now to repay when you get your salary. Now, you will argue with me, even at a 30% interest rate, the amount of time you borrow that credit for, the interest on that is very little. Here's the catch. The companies don't make money off the interest. They make money off the initiation fee they charge you every single time. So just go and have a look at that credit agreement of a payday loan before you accept the next one. So if we then look at the cost of credit, I've got some practical examples that I want to go through with you guys. So the first one is the buying of a car. Now remember, we said this is good credit, but I'm going to prove to you that it can be good and bad credit. So if we look at a new car, companies advertise you can get a new car for only 2,499 Rand a month with a balloon payment, and you know that last little bit we say fast. Retail 109 deposit, da 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 da. Okay, you all know that. So let's quickly have a look at what are you actually repaying. So I've taken out the initiation fee of the car. So I've used the retail value of 198,000. Looked at the deposit that they require, which is 14.7%, which is 29,386. Taken the interest rate they've given you, your repayment term over 72 months. So your total repayment is 209,314. So what does that make your cost of credit? So in other words, you've paid 36% more of the price of that item for the cost of the credit. But now, here's this funny little thing called a balloon payment. And a balloon payment essentially means after the 72 months, you still owe their money. And there you go. Your balloon payment is almost 60,000 Rand. So now you've paid off your car, or so you think. How are you going to finance this balloon payment? So most people go to the loan of a personal option because you can't refinance your own car 90% of the time. So you refinance the balloon payment with a personal loan at an interest rate of 30% over a 5-year period. Your additional monthly repayment over 5 years is 1,893 Rand per month. Then, if you look at your new cost of credit, your car has almost cost you double because of the balloon payment and you having to refinance it. So this is an example of how a debt can be good or bad. Okay, if you've removed the balloon payment at the end of your period, so you either saved to pay it or there was no balloon payment to start off with, your cost of credit would only be 32%. But now because you had to refinance that balloon payment, you're sitting at a cost of credit of 93%. So that's almost double. Let's look at another example, consumer goods. So this is your TVs, your household items that you buy. So this is a real life example I took from one of the ads. Okay, it's a 40-inch TV at 3,799. That's what you can buy it cash for. Let's have a closer look at what they say below the cash. So you can get it at 260 Rand for 24 months. It's a total of 6,240 Rand at an interest rate of 16.8%. Look at what your cost of credit is. So you are paying 64% more for this TV just because you are paying it off. Okay. So next up, I want to talk about taking out a new credit agreement. What is your rights and your responsibilities? You have the right to be scored fairly by the place you apply for your credit. So you've got the right for them to make sure that they captured all the information as you provided it and that there's no discrimination in your application. You have the right to review the application before they submit it, and you have a right to be informed of the cost, including the initiation fee, the monthly administration fee, your credit life insurance, and the timeline over which your debt will become repayable. But what is your responsibilities? And this is something where I want to stop and spend a bit of time on because I think this is crucially important for you to understand. A lot of people blame the typical banks and the finance houses for the mess they are in. But have a look. Have you always been 100% honest on your credit applications? We know we are people. You lie because you think you need the money, or you do need the money. So you don't necessarily disclose all your expenses. Is this the credit company's fault? No, it's not. Read through your credit agreement. Take a bit of time at the bank or wherever you're applying for that credit. Take a bit of time, read through that agreement. Make sure that you understand what you're in for how long you're in for it. And if you don't understand, it's the person on the other side's job to answer your questions. You also have the responsibility to pay your debt on time. If you don't repay your debt on time, you'll have a negative listing on the credit bureaus. Okay? Keep records of your debt, because something might happen and then you don't have any records of who you owe, and then you're trying to keep your life back in order, but you've got no idea how to. The last responsibility you have, which is one I want to focus on really, and I want you to urge you or to challenge you to make a note that on an annual basis you get your free credit reports. Not only is that going to empower you to make better decisions or understand where you are in terms of your credit arrangements, but it's also going to help protect you against credit that was obtained illegally against your name. So victims of identity theft, they normally go and open credits in your name, get the goods, and they don't repay it. Because why will they repay it? They stole your identity. So do yourself a favor and make sure you get your annual credit report. Work through it. Make sure you understand it. Okay, so now that we've got the formalities on, let's get to the tips on how we can help you. So most of you are going to tell me I've got too much debt. What options have I got? Okay, you basically have two options under the National Credit Act. You've got debt consolidation or debt review. And I want to spend a bit of time going through each of them today to try and help you navigate your way through them. So what is debt consolidation and what is debt review? And how can you use them either together or separately to get out of debt? So if we look at debt consolidation, you take all your current debts and you refinance them. Okay, it's normally done with a new application for credit or through an existing access bond. With a new application, there's a new application fee. Okay, if you refinance it through your bond, you're paying short-term debt over the longer term. So why am I telling you this? Why is this important? If you repay your debt, so let's take an example. I've got debt. After 3 years of paying it, I realized that my monthly installment is too high. I now go to the bank and I say, I want a debt consolidation loan. They give me a loan. They pay off all my existing debts, and now I've got one new monthly installment that I need to pay, which is a lot lower. How? How is this possible? Let me tell you. So basically, you're taking that debt that you've only got 2 years left to repay, and you're repaying it over another 5 years. So you're adding interest you're repaying the interest you've already paid over the next 3 years. And then after, when you start repaying your capital, that's where you will see the difference. So it's very important that you understand, if you go into debt consolidation, make sure you've consulted with a professional to make the sums, crunch the numbers, and see if this is actually going to be worth your while. And if you can't, just by restructuring a bit of your budget, if you're not able to actually pay your debt. If you do debt consolidation through your bond, we can have a look at, so some people have got an access bond, and they normally you can use that. And other people's got a bond that they cannot access. So there's a new application that you need to put to the bank if you want to consolidate all your debts. The problem I have with this is, let's say you've got your house for 7 years. That means you roughly have about 13 years left. Now you're financing this debt that you would have paid it down. Let's use the same example as above. You've had your debt for 3 years. Okay. Now you're paying debt over a 13-year period. Okay, added interest, which you could have paid over a 2-year period. If you add the rands and cents of the interest that you are paying, it is ridiculously scary. Even though the interest rate on your bond might be lower than on your personal loans, crunch the numbers, get someone to help you, and make sure that you got. We will be shortly releasing our debt consolidation tool to show you the difference, rands and cents, what you would pay, because it's easy to compare percentages. One's higher, one's lower. But I wanted to help you, to show you what is the rands and cents you're going to pay for. Okay, let's have a quick look at debt review. I found this really nice graph about what is debt review from Debt SOS, and you'll see there that it's actually a very complicated process. And it's not just a 1, 2, 3. The problem is with most people is they don't see the debt review process through. Halfway through, they stop because they realize that I'm paying too much fees for this, or I can't do this, or they just give up. Okay? Be honest with the consultant that is helping you with your debt review. If you're not honest with them and you don't tell them about all their debts, how are they supposed to help you? Okay? Please get the estimates of your fees payable before you go into debt review. We've had many stories from people where they come back and they say, I've tried to go on debt review, or I have been on debt review, but the fees are killing me and I haven't really paid much of my debt. This should not be your easy way out. When you are looking to get out of debt, you should first look at restructuring your budget, then look at debt consolidation, and then look at debt review. Okay. So how do I reduce my debt? It's very simple. You have to change your behavior. If we go back to that initial graph that I showed you on where South African debts lie, most of that debt is lifestyle debt. There's nothing that I can teach you today apart from change your behavior if you want to get out of debt and you are in debt due to lifestyle debt. Don't borrow money to buy a TV. Don't borrow money to buy basic stuff you need. Don't borrow money to buy your clothes. Okay? Unless you've got a sure set plan on how you're going to get out of it or how you're going to repay it. Okay. Have an action plan. There is a calculator on the website. I will refer you guys to the website when we get to the end of the webinar, which is a debt action plan. It allows you to say, I want to put in an additional 500 Rand a month into my debt. How much sooner will I pay it off, or how much interest will I save? So go have a look at that calculator, play around with it, and let's see if you can't use that as a starting point for repaying your debt. Okay, get someone to hold your hand. Financial planners can hold your hand, coach you through the changes, help you crunch the numbers, and help you understand why you are in the situation you are, and also give you a glimpse of how you can get out of it. Okay. You have to understand the difference, the psychological advantages and disadvantages of going into a debt action plan. If you don't tackle the small debts first, you are going to look at, after 6 months' time, you're probably going to go, but why am I doing so much extra work to get my debt settled? Why am I sacrificing certain things in my life currently to get my debt settled if I still have so much debt? Because you're trying to do too much at one time. Okay. So tackle your small debt first. Generally, this is the debt with the higher interest rates, but not always. Okay. So tackle your small ones first, because you'll also save on account fees. So you'll start realizing very quickly, but now I've got one less account to pay. The trick then becomes so now I've got one less debt to pay, now I can start spoiling myself. It's human nature, it's how we think. But that's not what you should do. You should understand and focus on your goals and the targets you've set yourself. So if you've paid off one of your debts and your goal was to be debt-free, including that payoff by the end of the year, you have to start utilizing that money that you're no longer repaying to another debt to repay some of your other debts. Okay. So you also have to look at how can you change your behavior. There's no easy way out. If you don't want to change your behavior, you're not going to change your future life. Okay? Stop stealing from yourself. Stop borrowing just for the small things in life. It's so often I walk through the shopping centers and people stop me. And it's not shopping centers where I'm buying big assets that I really need the credit. But you get stopped and you said, ma'am, do you want a store card? This is the benefits. This is the advantages. They don't tell you what the disadvantages is. Okay, so stop looking at all of these credit cards instantaneously while you're in a store. take that information they give you, go read it at home, understand it, look at your plan. Does it fit in your plan? If it doesn't fit, it doesn't belong. Okay? You can't put a square peg through a round hole unless the square peg is smaller than the round hole. Okay? Instill a savings habit, not only in yourself, in your spouse, in your household, in your kids. Try to start getting that habit of saving. Start with smaller things. So if you want to go away at the end of the year, it's nice till March, put away a bit every month if you can. Then you've got money for December. You don't have to borrow money in January to repay the stuff because you spend too much of your money in December. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Okay. Have a look at your needs versus your wants versus your comfort. Do you need something to continue able living? Or do you want something to make your life easier? Or do you just want to keep on buying stuff because it makes you feel comfortable? Okay, retail therapy. It's the worst thing ever. Okay, it works for some people, but it doesn't work for your money. Okay. Understand the relationship you have with your money. As you saw in that little video clip that I played, it's easier to swipe a card than to pay with cash, because when you start buying things with cash, it's physically the money you see. However, in South Africa, we've got a bit of the safety risk. So generally, most of us resort to swiping our cards. Yes, it is easy. Unfortunately, again, there's no quick fix to it, apart from that after every transaction, start writing down how much you've got left in that card and how much money you've got left to spend. Make sure you don't exceed what you have budgeted for when you look at your expenses. Okay. So again, know your money, have the relationship with your money. Have an open door policy in your house when it comes to a discussion about money. Most of the couples that I know, my friends and so, they don't speak about money. Okay. My husband and I have got a rule in the house: we will never fight about money, and we don't, because we talk about money. Before I plan on buying things, I generally talk to him first, and he does the same. He's got access to my bank account, I've got access to his bank account. So we have an understanding and an open door discussion policy in our house. I quickly want to touch on the effect of compound interest, and we are running a bit short of time, so I'm going to ask you to bear with me just a while longer. So compound interest basically says you'll earn interest on interest. And there's a good example that I used a while ago. So if you start saving and you stop, but you leave the money there, after a period of time, if somebody else starts saving, they continue saving for a longer period of time. At the end of the period, you will have more than them. For the pure reason, the sooner you start, your money will start earning you interest sooner, and you'll start earning interest on interest sooner. Okay. Let's quickly look at the role a financial planner can play in assisting you. So financial planners are skilled and knowledgeable people. They understand money matters. They also have a bit of understanding about the relationship you have with your money. So a financial planner will be able to sit with you, calculate your debts, work on an action plan. But you must also commit, when you consult with a financial planner, to do your end. They're not miracle workers. Some of them are, but they're not always. You have to start taking accountability if you want to get out of debt, if you want to live the lifestyle that you dream of within your financial needs. So consult with a financial planner that will be able to look at your situation holistically, develop a plan from it, and work with you to achieve that plan. Okay. So where do you find a financial planner? You can visit www.letsplan.co.za. You'll be able to find a financial planner. If you navigate yourself to resources and then financial planning calculators, we've got a cost of credit calculator on there for you. We also have the debt action plan calculator for you, and shortly we will publish a calculator on debt consolidation for you. So ladies and gentlemen, this is now the end of the webinar. I hope that I've taught you a number of things. I hope that I've inspired you to start working on your debt and not just be blindsided. and that you will actually go and download your credit report and have a starting point on how to work and get yourself debt free. Thank you very much.